Welcome to Level TV with the Sony Xperia Z1 smartphone here in a full review, and as you can see I've been using it for quite a few days since there's some apps here on the front screen pre-installed. We have Android Jelly Bean 4.2 installed. There will be of course an update coming probably soon with 4.4 I hope. We have the Qualcomm Snapdragon 800 processor inside, which is the smartest or the fastest, one of the fastest processors out there right now. We have a beautiful 20.7 megapixel camera here in the back. We will show you in a few minutes what it all can do. With a flash also here, NFC of course, the Sony Xperia logo right here on the bottom. On the front, a mineral glass, so it's kind of scratch proof. You can do anything on it, even with a pen, but this is not like the Sony Xperia Z Ultra. Here also accessible as a stylus via a pen. You always have to use your finger or some kind of stylus with a rubber knob on the front. On the sides we have here a beautiful metal design. This is a complete metal cover here made out of one metal piece. They cut it out here quite beautifully, and then they put some buttons on it, like here the dedicated camera button, volume control, on and off switch, and behind this little flap there is the SIM card slot, micro SIM to be exact, and you have again another hardware on-off button here, which is a little red dot, but you will probably never use or need that. On the top we have, in this waterproof phone, here a dedicated headphone port, 3.5mm, which is of course quite nice. But as I said, this is a waterproof phone, and you don't have to ever seal this up. Only here the other ports, like for example micro USB and the micro SD. Internally we have 16 gigs of internal memory as far as I know. But we have the possibility to extend it here via micro SD with another 64 gigs, so you have about 70 or 80 gigs at the end that you can actively use, since of course there's still Android installed. 2 gigs of RAM, and you actually never even have to use this micro USB if you don't want to, since we have here a docking station port where we can also charge it here via a docking station that is also accessible for the Z Ultra that I have also here in my hands. But the Z Ultra, as you can see, is a little bit slimmer, has the same size of battery though. Both have 3000 milliamps, but this has a 6.4 inch screen, and the Z1 has a just a 5-inch Full HD screen. So on the bottom, beautiful big speaker, which we could also try out later. You can see, as I said, I have been using it for a while, so we have some scratches and dents already here in the device. And also, as I said, on the front is mineral glass, but there's also a foil, display protection foil on here on the front, so you can also see a little bit of scratches here on that, but it's not the real glass that has actually been scratched, since that is of course a lot stronger. 2 megapixel front camera with a nice low light feature also. And on the back you have a 3 times optical zoom at 8 times digital zoom, but you only have 8 megapixel picture stand when you use the optical zoom. So what else can I tell you? MHL, USB, LTE, Bluetooth, and so on and so on. GPS, a GPS to be exact. There's all kinds of features in there, but let's actually check out the software features, since Sony installed quite a few. I'm getting all the time these emails, as you can see on the top, where you can already see here that it looks quite great, especially when you close up here the emails or notifications. You have really a lot of space for them, but what is a little bit a drawback here with Sony on the new Bravia engines is that you cannot customize here the top part, where you only have brightness, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth and sound, but you can go into the settings quite quickly, and then you can access everything here that you would want to with this custom design that Sony has built in. So apps. We have 3 pages of apps here that are pre-installed, mainly just Google apps, as you can see here. Then we have some Sony apps like Track ID or Smart Connect, but there's also the Track ID TV. I have to try that out. I have never used that actually, but it could be also quite handy if you're watching a TV show to know which one. Actually, we have Pixlr Express pre-installed, PlayStation Mobile, Box, and from here on these are mine, MX Player, Android, and so on and so on. So there's some things that I installed. Also the Xperia launch is quite nice, and Xperia privilege. So here you have always access to some games, some content, to new movies, to the World Cup, the takeout. So this is actually quite handy. And also with Xperia privilege you get 3 things like coupons for free PlayStation mobile games, 3 unlimited video unlimited movies, or just 16 days of music unlimited here also for free for testing, for example. And these will be of course always updated when you just use it in an everyday use. TV side view, that's again an app I have actually never opened, but this sounds also quite interesting. But as I see, I have to register a device to make use of that. So let's just check that out later. I think a lot more interesting is the camera apps, which you can see already here. But we can also just open up the camera, which has really a beautiful, beautiful picture. As you can see here, it's fast and just perfect to use every day. I have right now the manual mode, but we have also superior auto, but manual is actually quite handy. If you just open up here on the side this little thing, you can see that we have here the different effects that you can choose from, for example, for white balance, and other features of course are also here accessible. Like for example, I can of course set up here the 20.7 megapixel and touch focus, metering, preview, image stabilizer. I can turn that on or off. Face registration is also available right here, and I can of course also flip the camera to see here the front, where I have of course less options, a little bit less with 2 megapixel, but I can still shoot full HD movies. And as you can see, I'm actually nicely visible also on here, and I have also some features here that I could use, like for example info eye. That's a quite handy thing, since it's easy to explore, as we're able to see here on the beginning, not just objects but also text, QR codes, mail, maybe products like a bottle of champagne or wine. I actually have one here on the table, which even has a QR code, so it's even double good. So let's just see if that, for example, works. Let me just go here through and just shoot a photo like that. So if we have Wi-Fi, we need of course internet connection for that. It's looking for things on it, and you can see it says it could not be recognized. So let's just go back here, maybe check out that QR code on the back. It's actually Hungarian wine for you guys to know, and it's quite good actually, but not expensive. Sorry, this object could not be recognized again. So this is of course quite a drawback. Let's just go a little bit closer here to the QR code probably, then it shouldn't be a problem for Sony to solve here the maze. Text result 750 milliliter. That's all it could find, which was a quite big text here. Again, a drawback in my German video. What I did was actually just take the spec sheet I have right here in front of me from Sony, do a picture like this, for example, just of the text, hold it a little bit still, not too much, and then it has actually also an OCR feature, so it can take the complete text in, as you can see here. And it also saw the business card details here on the bottom from the Sony colleague here with the email, but it thought that the address would be the specs right on top and the company's multimedia. And yeah, this is again quite strange, but I think that's only happening because I didn't clean the camera before, and it's always quite unsharp. So this is actually really kind of strange, but there will be also a lot of features that I have to show you guys. So again, yes, I know what this is, and yeah, it looks a lot better now. So let's just hit the camera button, put the wine in the back, and here we have text results. So yeah, you can just copy this, for example, to the clipboard. It captured all the text, and it's really quite handy here for just copying in text or just scribbling from maybe colleagues or anything like that, and I could just say, okay, this is properly, and then we have a nice little feedback to Sony. But there's also the possibility to stream video live via Bambuser, time shift burst, find the best photo from burst images, of course. AR effect, again, one of my favorites. Quite cool to just have, for example, dinosaurs running in a second here around on my table, as we will see when this is loading up. There we go. So we have a volcano in the back and some flowers going on here, and there should be somewhere a dinosaur. Yeah, it's right there in the glass, you could say. But there's of course also other features, like for example I can say I want to have fish here on my table. It always takes a second, but it's quite an interesting feature to just play around here a little bit. But for everyday use, of course, this is just a little gimmick. Now, where are the fish? I can find you. There you are. So there we have some corals and fish swimming around. I think I can also a little bit play with them. As you can see, I can hit them and then they go a little bit faster. Ooh, here's a big fish. Turn around. And yeah, there's actually also things that you can install by yourself, like for example FX Guru. I did install that, but there's also here the possibility to just go to the apps. You can see here a list of apps, not that big right now, but if you guys are developers, then you can think, for example, here of something, and I can actually just show you guys something I did with the app before, the FX Guru, which I installed. So you can just capture a video about 10-12 seconds, and about at the middle there should be, yes, the satellite crashing down. This was a effect for free, and it looks actually quite awesome if you have a really picture maybe or a video maybe of your street or anything like that. That could look actually quite amazing. And that was actually it from the camera features. There's, as you were able to see, quite a few, but there's also a lot of apps like Pixel Express or even just Sketch in here, which is quite handy to just start off here scribbling, or I can just switch here to a little hearts in orange maybe. I want to have an orange heart shape here, or I can just say, okay, I want to have maybe a head. I can make it a little bit bigger. Yeah, do like this, and of course go tell it to be on the back layer, on the front layer, say okay, but of course you can also add a picture. I could now take a photo, take a picture of myself, like that. Please wait, I can put it in here, make it a little bit smaller, make it maybe a little bit here like that. Say I want to have it in the back layer, say okay. And then, you see, I have a hat on, and yeah, you can just start drawing now, maybe, I don't know, here with this rainbow color, something on here, yeah, whatever. So this is really a quite cool feature, and you have, of course, always the possibility to undo each and every step. So this is Sketch, and there's of course quite a few more apps installed, Track ID, Smart Connect, and so on. I already have shown you on some other Sony smartphones. Again, here I don't find it that cool that you can't just go to the beginning after you are at the end. So if you have a lot of pages of apps, this is of course not that handy, but you can also make here little folders, so that's actually totally fine. And you have also little apps that you can just put over other ones, like for example I can just have here a note writing app, so I can just type my note and then just take this here to the side, open up the browser, maybe open up for that here a calculator also, and I can just start here typing something. Since I have opened, for example, I don't know, some price specs, and I can just write this number down here in this app, and then just pull these again here to the side, and then I have them always open. And you can actually, if you cannot see right now something because of these little icons, you can just drag them to the side. So this is of course again quite cool, and to just close them up you just have to press here the X, and then they are gone. As you can see, there's quite a few apps here. Even bookmarks could be open like that. So just your standard browser here. But I don't have any bookmarks right now, so that of course doesn't work. But I could have, for example, my calendar actually also open like this. Make it a little bit smaller, put it on the side again. So this is really a quite handy feature. If you were already before here in the videos and pictures, let me actually show you some low light footage, which is maybe longer than 1 second. 1 minute here of a club. Let's just start over, where we were shooting low light footage here with this nice little camera. And you can see that that's of course quite good. Zooming in, not the best, but of course this is not optical zoom, not real optical zoom, just digital zoom. So if you're shooting low light, you should not zoom around, since it's the best when it's original. And the sound quality was also quite okay. If you want to see this footage in full resolution, just check out actually Endeavor TV and the YouTube channel. It should be online. Yeah, I shot a 15-second movie right there. And you can of course also I watch a lot of series on here. So for example, I could watch here Elementary, quite a cool series with Lucy Liu. As you can see, of course, beautiful picture quality, and the battery life is also quite good on this device. I get easily 10 hours when I just watch or use it with 2G and not have LTE on all the time. You can see I have right now plane mode, but otherwise watching about 1 hour of movie should be about 8% going down here with maximum volume and mid brightness. So what else is there to show you? Actually not much, since it's a quite fast device. It's quite amazing to use. The keyboard, you were able to see that already. I can just type here around, doodle around. You can also just connect here everything. I actually have no clue. We even have a tab button now. I haven't seen that before, but only for forms. So Sony is smart enough to see that that's a form. And with Shift tab, you can always go back one place here. But what I haven't shown you yet is that it's really waterproof. You can already see here the water in the background waiting. So I just open up the camera app. Let me check that everything is closed here. That's always a good thing to do, since if it's not, then you have of course a problem. And you can see now the camera is still running. Can again take it out of the water. But what's of course not that good is that even with the camera running and it's a waterproof phone, it just started recording a video now, since it thought that I pressed the button actually when I put it into the water, but actually that didn't happen. It just happened because water is of course acting like a finger usually. So when the display is wet, it's not perfect to use it anyway, but just taking it under the shower or if it's raining, it's still fine. If you're watching a movie, nothing should actually happen except for maybe the volume should go off, or if you have the option buttons there, then of course those could be accidentally pressed. But otherwise it survived. It's a beautiful waterproof phone with a really good camera, cool features. You should check it out. The price is right now quite high, but compared to other devices it's really quite cool. In size it's a little bit bigger than other 5-inch competitors like the Samsung Galaxy S4. As you can see, it's a few millimeters in height to the Apple iPhone 5 or 5S, which have a 4-inch screen. Of course it's a lot bigger. Still fits in your pocket nicely though. Then compared to Nokia Lumia 925, also 4.5 against 5 inches, not really that fair, but both have these nice amazing metal covers or borders around it. Compared to Sony Xperia ZL, also one of my favorites, which is actually not waterproof but also has a 5-inch Full HD screen. Again, a lot smaller, but again this is not waterproof, doesn't have the camera, but has a nice little back cover, and the 3000 milliamps in here is really quite amazing. But the LG G2, my favorite phone this year actually, which is not waterproof but has a 5.2-inch display, and you can wake it up by double tapping and also let it go to sleep again, has also 3000 milliamp battery, and it's really quite amazing how LG fit that in there, and it's not really that much thicker. So if you are not buying the Sony, you should definitely check out my LG G2 test on Endeavor TV. So till then, thank you much for tuning in. My name is Balazs Gal, and maybe also get a smartwatch too for your Sony, since it's really a quite cool gadget, which you can also check out soon on my channel.